This is Indie Business Podcast, Season 3, Episode 4, Makers on Main Street. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Indie Business Podcast. I am your host, mentor, and coach, Donna Maria, the founder and CEO at indiebusinessnetwork.com. My goal is to help makers and handmade entrepreneurs build a solid business foundation, increase your income, and use your business to create the life you love. On this episode, I will introduce you to Michelle Rhoades of Mossy Creek Soap in Perry, Georgia. Michelle's introduction to business ownership began with a foray into the world of direct sales. She was very successful at it, but when the company folded, she found herself with an active list of customers and nothing to sell them. What a great problem for an entrepreneurial mind to solve, right? And that's exactly what Michelle did and continues to do at Mossy Creek Soap. Michelle owns and manages a retail shop where she sells her finished products and teaches classes. She has a wealth of experience to share, and you will love the story of how she opened her first store in the wrong place and then had to move to another location. Michelle has shoestringed her business from day one, and today she's got multiple income streams flowing into her business. Make sure you pay special attention to her insights in this area during this episode. You'll be inspired to be successful as a maker on Main Street no matter where you are, because Michelle is proof positive that you do not need to be in a big city to have a successful storefront. You can get a summary for this episode at indiebusinessnetwork.com/28. I'll be right back with Michelle Rhoades of Mossy Creek Soap in Perry, Georgia. Michelle Rhoades from Mossy Creek Soap in Georgia. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me, Donna Maria.
Well, I'm so excited that you were able to attend. And, you know, this is just such a wonderful opportunity for me to meet with makers on Main Street from all across the country. And you are in Perry, Georgia. And I had never heard of Perry until I met you. Tell us where it is.
Oh, that's too funny. I'm actually originally from Georgia. I'm not originally from Perry, but Perry is located, it's about 40 minutes, about 30 to 40 minutes from Macon, Georgia. So Macon is central, so we're still part of central Georgia. Okay. About an hour and a half from the Atlanta airport.
Now, Michelle, tell us a little bit about how you started Mossy Creek Soap. I've seen you grow your business, and I was very excited to see you open a store. And I know that you've been in business for quite some time, and you work with your husband too, right?
Uh-huh. That's correct. He comes and helps me out mostly on the weekend because he works during the week at the base. Mm-hmm. We're close to Warner Robins Air Force Base is where we're located. That's pretty much why this county is located or sprung up, is because of the base, basically. But I started in 2009 after a direct selling company that I was working for had decided to close their doors. And what happened is at that point I had a ton of customers and I didn't have a product to sell them. And I had kind of thrown it around. I thought, well, my husband was in Iraq at the time, and I thought, well, what do you think about soap? And of course I threw out there the melt and pour soap because of course we're all afraid of lye at that point of never working with it before. And he said, oh no, we're going to do lye soap, and I'll do the lye. So when he got back home from Iraq, we had started to make soap together, and that's what we did for the first year. But then what happens, and I think this happens with a lot of manufacturers that are trying to manufacture products out of their home, is eventually you just outgrow your space. And that's what happened. And I ended up getting a retail spot because it was out of necessity. I needed somewhere I could sell my product, manufacture my product. And also I had tossed around the idea of teaching because I really, really, really enjoy sharing what I know with other folks. So that's really how we got started.
And one of the things that stands out about you so much, there's so many things. It's hard to just know where to start. But your photography of your soap, not just your finished bars, but the raw soap. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Is that something that you pursue professionally, or because honestly, it's really pretty?
Thank you. That's a passion of mine that I've had for a long time. I actually oh gosh, it's probably been about 20 years ago. I'm so telling my age. But I was a photographer at the, like a Sears portrait studio, and I think I worked at JCPenney's for a little while as well. I had that interest anyway. Then when I had to do soap, and I realized how beautiful the colors were together. I just played with it and had fun. My husband laughs at me. He thinks I make soap just to take pictures of them.
I know that. That's funny. I've heard him say that before. It's just an excuse.
But you know, in some ways it is and it's not. But
Yeah.
I mean, in what other kind of medium? I can't paint worth a flip.
Right.
But I can certainly paint with colors and soap, and that's the most amazing thing to me because it allows me to have use my creativity inside and then photograph it so that way I can share what I am seeing at the moment. So I just enjoy it so much.
Well, and how wonderful is it that we can all create a business of our own that allows us to tap into all aspects of our personality and everything that we need to be happy in our lives.
That is so true. That is so true. So we can do it, and that in the mediums that we can do it in. You know, it's neat.
And so you started out making soap and selling soap. And tell me, what was it, Michelle, that led you to open a store?
Well, again, it was out of necessity to get my operations out of my house. So my intentions always were to sell my product in my retail shop. But the reality is that I live in a very small community. And so when I opened up my shop for the first time, which, mind you, was not on, it was not conducive for walk-in traffic, which was my biggest downfall. I just immediately was under, you know, we're all kind of naive when we first start. And I thought, of course, I'm going to have this wonderful product, and, you know, I have customers, so they're going to find me, and all these walk-in people are going to come in and buy my product. Well, it didn't quite happen that way. I remember sitting in my shop for at least about a month every day thinking I'm going to be open, and all these people are going to come in and buy my product, and it was going to be wonderful, you know, and it just doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't, Michelle?
Yeah.
I remember a funny story. When I opened my little store, I had quit my job and opened a store, and I got in the car one day to drive up to another city to buy some supplies, and I remember being out on the highway looking at all these cars going, how do I get these people to come into my store? And I remember thinking, I probably should have asked that before.
Before you opened the shop up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, I totally agree. And
so the facility that you have now, Michelle, is not the one that you had when you first started?
No.
Okay. You've moved. Okay.
And I really want to share that with everybody else too, because again, my whole objective was to move my manufacturing out of the house. Okay. And when I did that, you know, I shoestringed my business from day one. So I didn't have a huge budget to start out with. So I got the smallest place I could find that, and actually it was month to month, so it was even perfect in a lot more ways. It was month to month. It even had all utilities included. And you can't get that option, and you don't have that option in a lot of, you know, different areas, but I did here. So when I had pretty much outgrown that spot in about, I don't know, it was probably about 2 years, and I was so wishing for another spot, and I stumbled on the location that I have now, and it's located in Perry. The first location I had was located in Rhoades, which is still part of the same community. It's just in a different area. It's a little bit further north. But Perry is beautiful in its own right because it is an older, historic town. So I stumbled on this location, and it had been vacant it was probably vacant for a couple of years before I ever got into it. And I saw so much potential with it. In some ways, when I moved in, I also rebranded in a weird way, but to include the building itself. And when I did that, I started selling my soap, but I also started selling supplies because I offer classes. So I have a combination of a few things that's happening in the shop between having supplies and my product.
Yeah, so you have created a place where you can have multiple income streams flowing in at the same time.
That is correct. That was, again, out of necessity. I don't think I've been able to keep my doors open in a small community such as ourselves here because of that. I'm still teaching the local people here, you know, the importance of using handmade products and to support local businesses. So, I mean, that's always an ongoing project with me on that.
And then that message I see across the country is more and more received well by people everywhere. They're hungry for, how can I find the local people here that sell what I want? And if they're not here, when are they coming?
Exactly. And of course, everything, since I'm in a smaller town, it's slower, and we're slower to catch on to that. But I am definitely seeing signs that are changing in our community.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because although I may not have a steady stream of foot traffic coming in, I have a pretty good local customer base here, and they know who I am, which still shocks me in some ways.
And not having an overwhelming amount of foot traffic gives you an opportunity to focus on some other aspects of your business, including actually making the product. But one thing I know about you, because I've talked with you about this before, Michelle, is that you feel that it's very important from a business and a personal perspective to not just rely on those foot traffic walk-in retail sales to make your business work.
That is so correct, because again, this goes back to my original location when I had landed myself in a spot that I had no foot traffic. I really didn't. And so in order to keep those doors open, I added the classes. Then I added supplies, not to mention the online. That was about the same time when I had moved my operations from my house into the smaller location, my first location. I included all three of those. The online took off pretty fast, which today it's a little slower, but then I had different avenues. It was pre-Google, and I won't even go down that path. But I was able to really get good sales online, and I started my teaching business. That was one avenue as well, besides my local base.
So you have retail off your website. You have walk-in customers that buy your products retail. You teach the classes in the store. And do you wholesale as well?
I wholesale as well. That is correct.
So that's wonderful. So you're a perfect model of how to take one thing and get it to where you want it to be, and then add other things on systematically as they make sense. Exactly.
You find out where your revenue streams are coming and which ones are stronger. And if I at any point, and I think it's very important to be flexible as well, because if you see as a business owner, it is being aware and being present in your business to see what your market is actually doing. If one avenue didn't work and another one was stronger, I would have certainly dropped it. But at this point, they're still pretty all equally bringing income in for me. And at this point, it doesn't look like I'm going to be dropping any one of them. Now, what I'm hoping to do this year is to increase the wholesale. And then that way, that can kind of balance out a lot as well. So I'm working on that. That's my new thing.
Now, Michelle, how do you get foot traffic? Do you advertise locally? How do you tell people about your store there?
Well, a few things that I have done a little bit different this year is Perry, since it's our really only historic downtown that we have in Houston County, which is the county that I am a part of. They have a merchants association that is local to just Perry downtown. So I have recently joined up with them, and just being with them, it can help me do the whole word of mouth thing and get the word out where I am and where I'm located. Now, I do have a benefit of being right across the street from the library, and they were just doing a whole lot of renovations on it, so I'm really hoping to get a lot more foot traffic in that way. But my building is not necessarily down the main street downtown area. It's kind of off of the beaten path even down there. So it's still a little bit different. Most of it right now is word of mouth for locals. The others, a lot of the shopping that I'm getting as far as supplies are from the students coming in. So when they leave, they actually have, a soap making kit they can walk out the door with them so that they can make soap when they get home. But I have advertised. Newspaper advertising is kind of a hit or miss. What I try to do with the newspaper advertising is really just advertise during big functions, like if it's Mother's Day, you're going to see me advertising, definitely. Father's Day, I'll advertise. Valentine's Day, I would advertise. Social media networking is very big with me, and a lot of people in our area are on Facebook. Again, here's the slower thing. Not so many people have tuned into Instagram in my area, but they're pretty big on Facebook, and I get a lot of my traffic from Facebook.
That's such a good example of how important it is to follow where your customers are. Michelle, what is the hardest part or the most challenging part, or what are the most challenging parts about managing a retail operation?
I think the challenging part is being available to your customers. So my challenge currently is do I stay open retail longer hours, more days of the week, or do I continue to have the days that I'm open that are that I actually have traffic on? So it's kind of the chicken and the egg thing. Do I open more hours and expect more traffic, or do I continue to keep the hours that I have? And some of the problems that I'm facing with being having so many different businesses into one is that I have at the studio, even though I may not be open retail, I'll be there manufacturing soap, or I'll be manufacturing whatever product I'm trying to get the stock shelved, stocked up with, or I might be going in to ship orders. So I guess the thing is trying to get the word out. I mean, I have set hours, but also get the word out to my customers to let them know that if they are, the only days that they can come in would be on a day that I'm, quote, closed. I might still be there. So I guess that's always, that's still pretty tough with me on that one.
And you also, you mentioned earlier that your husband helps you a lot with your business when he's not working his traditional job, and you also are a mom.
I am. My daughter is 14. She's getting ready to go to high school next year.
Okay, so this is another challenge in and of itself. Just because I'm a mom as well. When my kids were younger, the challenges were physical. It was like, you're changing diapers and you're chasing people down the steps or whatever, or trying to keep them from falling down the steps. And then I've recently undergone this shift. My daughter's not quite as old as yours, but I've noticed that it's much more mental now. And so focusing on my business is a whole different ball game. How has that worked for you and your husband? How do you manage and keep all that integrated well?
Well, what we have just started doing, and I'm very excited to say that I brought my daughter to the Handcrafted Soap Makers Guild meeting in Indianapolis last weekend. So the idea is, it really is just the three of us. She's my only daughter. So I want to include her in the business as much as I can, because I think it's a wonderful opportunity, especially along with your kids as well, that they understand that, you're in business. And they get to learn these entrepreneurial skills that normal kids don't. Right. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for them. Yes, it is. There is always a balance. So I try to make sure that family time is family time and work time is work time, and shut it off, because it gets to be too much. I could work, and you know that as well, Donna. You can work 24/7. You could not sleep and work.
I know. And well, you do have to sleep, but other than that, honestly, I wonder if you feel sometimes like me, is like, it is work, but it's not work.
No, it's not. It's still playing.
We need another word. It's not work. It's not always work. It's not always fun. We have to create another word to describe this, because it's so hard to characterize it for someone who's not doing it.
Exactly. I totally agree with that.
So I love that you mentioned incorporating your daughter into being able to see what it is that you're doing. Does she come into the store sometimes and help you ship packages and help you take pictures and things?
She does. Well, a lot of what she does, she helps labeling, and when we have to get ready to, I call it quoting, doing an air quote. Clean the soap when you're beveling the soap to make sure that it's presentable before it goes out. So she'll come in and she'll clean the soap up. She will shrink wrap the soap. She'll put labels on it. And when I hold classes, a lot of times she'll come in and help and be my little teacher's assistant. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think that the drawback to a child that has parents as business owners is they get bored quicker than a child that doesn't. Mm-hmm. Because here's an interesting scenario for you. I put a help wanted not ad, but a post on Facebook, on my Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And the one girl that applied, believe it or not, was a classmate of hers.
Okay.
So you can understand the dynamics here.
Oh my gosh.
All of a sudden we went from my daughter not being so interested in the business to all of a sudden, oh my goodness, if Hannah's going to be interested in the business, I think I'm going to be more interested in it now.
Oh, that's so interesting. I might have to try that as a strategy.
Dynamic. Yes, exactly.
Oh my
I
goodness.
needed help on Saturdays. Yeah. I needed somebody while I'm teaching classes to watch the retail area.
Right.
So that's all I need. She doesn't need to come in and make soap. All she needs to do is ring people up.
Yes.
And, do customer service, and that was all I wanted my daughter to do. But she didn't want to work every weekend. So it was very interesting when I had hired her.
And that's
class.
great, because now it's not just work for your daughter, it's a social thing.
You bet.
And there we go again with the need for another word.
That's exactly
it really
right.
is. And how wonderful that at 14, she's learning that, incorporating that into her life, that you can create something for yourself on your own terms. That's work, obviously, because, you have to eat and you have to look at it that way. But it's also something that is a social outlet, a relational outlet, and something that allows you to have your personality built into how you work.
That is so correct. And the personal gratification, especially with the teaching aspect of my business, that way you feel it's a personally gratifying experience to teach somebody else something that and that you can teach it effectively to where they walk away with it and they make a business for themselves.
Right.
That is such a good feeling. You can't get that in anything, I don't think, other than what we're doing.
No, and how wonderful, again, is it that today with the online marketplace the way it is, so many people are being exposed to the fact that they can make things themselves, and that you don't have to be a rocket science to make your own jewelry or your own cupcakes or soap or whatever it is.
That is so true. And that has been recent, though, hasn't it?
I think so.
Years.
I do, because the Industrial Revolution changed everything, and we all got used to everything being commoditized. And
that's exactly right.
Now, while some things still are, I kind of buy my toilet paper anywhere. I don't really care. but most things that bring me real joy in my life, that really aren't just consumable, throwaway type things, I don't want to buy them at a big box store. I want to know the story behind them. And that brings me to another thing I want to ask you. How many people do you get that come to you that are not just excited that you have a nice product to offer them, but they want to buy it because they are getting to know you, the person who made it?
I think that's so important in our business, because I have always said that. And I learned that part of it in direct selling. So when I was working with the direct selling company, they had said from day one, people buy because they like you. It almost doesn't matter what you sell them.
Yeah,
if they like you, they'll buy you. They're buying you.
Right.
They're buying a little piece of you.
Yes.
So, and it's all the better that you're making something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I even talked to the direct sales, because I came from a direct sales background. I talked to current direct sellers, and I explained to them how easy it is for them to start their own business today. And it even if it's not soap, but they can do anything in the handcrafted arena and start a business for themselves and make 100% of the profit. Well,
right.
Outside of the cost,
minus all those expenses, right?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Right, but the personal satisfaction of building an asset that can outlast you is something that you don't get with that. And the other thing that your story points out too is that you once you have an audience, you can sell anything, because you mentioned that you were doing direct sales, you had customers, so which means you had an audience of people that were listening to you and available to you, but you didn't have anything to sell them. So you switched that around quick.
Yes, because I knew it. It took me a while. What was interesting about the whole direct selling, I've never been, or I say never, God, that's not a good word. As far as sales is concerned, I think here I'm going with a never again.
Never.
I don't like to sell per se to somebody. If it's a product that I wholeheartedly believe in, which this particular company was, that is one of the only reasons why I got involved in direct sales. Because yes, I am a good salesperson, but because I'm passionately involved in it, and then I can sell it. So I'm not a salesperson in the term of I can just take any product and sell it, but because I'm passionate about it. And I think that the passion is, it transcends to the customer, and they feel that as well. So that's that unknown, that unsight thing that you can just feel as a person. So people know when they're being sold to, and when you're being passionate about what you're doing. And you are, see that with me. You
are the passion. You are the product. And I'll give a shout out real quick to one of our members, Danielle Vincent, who said it this way. She said, "If it's not sales if you really mean it."
That's true.
How cool is that?
That's a wonderful statement. I love that.
Isn't it? Yes. So when you live your life, you're just living your life. And how awesome is it that you can just sell while you're living your life? You don't even have to think that much about it.
Exactly.
And that's a mindset set shift too, though, isn't it, Michelle? We don't all start from that. We start from most makers start from the standpoint of, oh my gosh, I love my product. Oh my gosh, I hate to sell. So tell us a little bit about your philosophy and how we make that shift from, I have a great product, I don't think it's, I don't want to sound like a used car salesperson, to I have a great product. Here's how I can, with that passion that you described, spread the word about it.
And that's a fabulous question. I mean, that is a great question, because when you're passionate about your product, it's easy to talk about what you're doing. And I explain to all my new students coming through the same way. A lot of times, you're in two different sides of the aspect. You can be a manufacturer and then be okay with just you and whatever you're making, because you don't have any outside contact. And some people are just good that way, so they have a harder time trying to stand in front of their customer and talk. But I explain it to those new students and those new business owners that are coming through that just speak to them from the heart. Because then they're never going to feel, your customer is never going to feel like they're being sold to. If you speak from the heart, speak from the passion that you have deep inside you about the product that you're making, about even for the shy folks, because I think that's the people who end up having a harder time, is because they have a harder time talking with people in general. Us extroverts, we can talk to anybody. We can talk to the signpost outside about our product just because it's standing there, but not everybody feels the same way. So I explain it to them, start slow. And if they have to, we used to call it in direct sales, have an elevator speech. So that way, if you get used to saying, what it is, your story, how you got started, maybe talk about the ingredients that you have in your product, strike up a conversation with the person. It's not really selling when you do it that way.
Michelle, how do you use video in your business?
I have been, now video it's something on the up and coming with me. I wished I'd be using it more. It just takes so much time for the editing on the back end for me personally. I have to get over that hurdle. Now what I am doing is on the video aspect side of it, I am including videos along with my, I have electronic handouts, class handouts that I sell online. So now, and I'm working to get all this up to date. I have one video out along with particular e-document that I have. So the other two videos are coming. It just takes a while for the editing part.
Well, and you have such an amazing, like on Instagram, for example, I know you said a lot of your audience isn't there, but I make videos on Instagram, put them on Facebook. So that's but they're 15 seconds long. What's so fascinating about these videos is, not mine in particular, but makers, people who are making things, the swirl making in the soap, and the jewelry makers that put the heavy equipment on their face and shield their faces and turn on those blow torches, and start, melting down the iron or the gold or whatever, the silver, to make their jewelry. And those 15-second clips are mesmerizing to me. So
aren't they?
They are.
I have to learn.
Well, it's just, I'm assuming your camera has a video option on it, if somebody could stand over your shoulder. But my point is that when you make things, as you mentioned earlier, it's not so much about selling them as about sharing the making experience in and of itself is a sales vehicle.
And we started doing that. It's funny that we're discussing this, because I remember when I first got into the business, and it was you that talked to me about video, and from the very beginning about video. And it's always, I can hear you in the back of my mind talking to me about the video, but I don't know why. And it's a good thing. Okay. So I have been trying to increase my video exposure. So this last season, before the holidays got started, I hired my first true employee. Well, she is now my manager of operations. But
congratulations, that's wonderful.
Thank you. So since I had somebody with me, I had a better opportunity, because I felt like I could at least speak with her. So we started putting some things out on Instagram. We just need to get better with it and increase our exposure that way. I so agree with what you're saying with that.
Well, and your pictures, the still ones, are mesmerizing. I can't imagine. I'd have to put a timer on if you were making videos of them, because Michelle, they're just so pretty. And it is such an art form, and whoever thought of soap as an art form? I remember when I told my husband, I was dating at the time, that I make my own soap. He kind of looked at me like he had he was sure he had heard me incorrectly. And he was like, you make your own. I know I must not have heard that right. I'm like, yeah, you
make soap.
Right. He's like, why would you even do that? You can buy that at the store. And I'm like, oh gosh, he's such a long way to go. But
exactly.
But now, of course, he won't.
Started the education.
Right, and he won't use anything else now. He like scours the bathroom, like, where is there any left? Who used it all? And gets all mad at everybody for doing that. So tell us, Michelle, where do we go online as well as in Perry? What's your address? Where do we go to get more of all of this exciting stuff that you have to offer?
Well, I am located online at mossycreeksoap.com, and that's MOSSYCREEKS as in Sam, OAP.com. I am also on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest as well. Pinterest, by the way, I want to just add, Pinterest is definitely up and coming. And those of you who have not started using Pinterest, start using Pinterest, because I'm getting a lot of foot traffic online with Pinterest.
Ooh, nice tip. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, you can also put some videos up on Pinterest too. But anyway, that's just me. Sorry, I'm going to haunt you. I'm going to be
my avenue.
No, it's really a selfish request, actually, because I just want to see them. So and the address for your store in Perry?
Oh, the physical address is 904 North Side Drive in Perry, Georgia, and the zip is 31069.
And spell that street name for us.
North Side, N as in Nancy, ORTH, S as in Sam, IDE. So North Side Drive.
Yes, and we want to make sure we tell everyone that, though, because, you know, our podcast goes everywhere, and we're on iTunes and stuff, so we're in people's pockets. So you might be listening, and you might be driving in Macon right now, and you need to make a U-turn and go check Michelle.
Yes, supplies and soap and all kinds of good. Come see.
Yes, and you will not be disappointed. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us on Indie Business Podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Donna Marie.
Loved hearing about your story. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed my interview with Michelle Rhoades of Mossy Creek Soap in Perry, Georgia. And if you did, why don't you show me some Twitter love? Just go to indiebusinessnetwork.com/love, and you can let your friends know that you enjoy this podcast. I really want to make it useful for you, and if I am, please let me know by sharing. I will see you on the next episode of the Indie Business Podcast. In the meantime, break all the rules, build your own corporate ladder, and create the life you love.